Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, a complete dog's breakfast. That's how the Tasmanian Labor Party has been described, once again forced into damage control. The fallout has continued after its national executive stepped in to postpone the state conference and remove its Tasmanian branch president.
A leader facing increased pressure to put the Tasmanian Labor Party back on track.
As I think people have sadly seen through the media, there have been some issues within the Labor Party that have been exposed over the last few months.
The National Executive yesterday voting to remove Tasmanian branch president Ben McGregor and postpone the state conference.
To cancel the conference that is due to happen at the end of this month because of the federal election is just a ridiculous proposition. We know that there won't be a federal election until next year. It was simply a smokescreen.
Tim Jacobson labelling the dumping of Ben McGregor
completely undemocratic.
The Health and Community Services Union disaffiliated with the Labor Party in August.
It's a complete dog's breakfast. There is absolutely no doubt about it. And it lurches from bad to worse, almost on a daily basis.
From the government's perspective,
clearly what we're seeing is Labor is in chaos.
Rebecca White says she understands the National Executive's decision to cancel the conference, but political analyst Richard Hurst says it will leave some questioning.
If the State Labor Party cannot manage its own affairs to the satisfaction of the National Executive, how are they going to run the state?
Cultural change can take time and it can be hard, but it's important that we do this work to make sure we can have a strong Labor Party.
Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
All 17 close contacts of a COVID-positive teenager who breached quarantine while infectious have returned negative test results. They'll remain in isolation for 2 weeks and have further tests over the coming days. 35 people have been identified as casual contacts after the 15-year-old visited the Newnham IGA. They're also in quarantine awaiting their results. The government says we're not out of the woods yet and is urging anyone with even the mildest of symptoms to have a test. The GP clinic in Ouse, set to shut its doors at the end of the month, has been given a lifeline. The Morton Group will step in to run the Central Highlands general practice from November. The clinic was due to close at the end of the month after some staff refused the COVID vaccination mandatory for healthcare workers. Negotiations with the new provider are still underway. Tasmania Police has dismantled a Launceston street gang operation, seizing money, illicit drugs and firearms. The alleged leader caught while trying to dispose of cash as authorities continue their war on crime.
Drugs, guns, cash seized by police as a Launceston crime network is dismantled.
It's not acceptable in this community and we won't accept it anywhere in Tasmania.
In the 5-week Operation Coat, conducted by state and federal police, authorities seized 4 firearms, 90 ecstasy pills, 40 grams of ice and $140,000, while 20 gang members have been slapped with charges.
Aggravated robbery, aggravated burglary, breaching home detention order, breach of bail, and firearms offences that have flowed on from that, as well as trafficking a controlled substance.
And they are Tasmanians who have operated for some time and have been before the court before in many different iterations.
The alleged leader of the gang caught red-handed.
During a search warrant conducted, AFP officers and Tasmania police officers allegedly caught that person attempting to flush in excess of $8,600 down a toilet.
While the woman he lived with is accused of falsely claiming a Centrelink carers payment for 5 years. Police say despite this bust, there's always more work to be done in dismantling crime networks, a constant threat in the area.
When a void appears, somebody else has to take that place and somebody else will supply the drugs and somebody else will supply the firearms.
The elements that we're talking about, they're causing the greatest amount of harm in the community.
Calling for more information to help put a stop to it. Tips from the public, a crucial element in their investigations. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The Table Cape Tulip Farm is blooming and about to reach its peak, and so are visitor numbers. The pandemic-proof attraction remaining as bright as ever with Tasmanians.
Many a heart skips a beat when every tint of tulip pops. A pleasure to peruse, visually vibrant. It's no wonder Table Cape is one of Tasmania's most photogenic fields.
Magnificent, yeah, real credit to them.
This Hobart couple chose these serene surrounds for a pre-baby snap.
Does he do a good job with the photos?
Yeah, he's very good, yeah. He's very good with photo. And,
No, just in front of the camera or in there?
And they're not the only ones with Wynyard on their wish list.
The tourism side's been the biggest surprise.
Tourism to Tasmania nearly halved in the past 12 months, but the tulips remain resilient. It's a backyard locals really want to explore, while exports are running hot.
A lot of new gardeners have emerged over the last couple of years.
And which colour tulip hits the right notes with the green thumbs? Turns out purple reigns as the prince of the paddock, especially this deep purple variety. The farm now produces thousands upon thousands of bulbs, far different to when these fields were in their infancy 30 years ago.
They only started with 1,000 bulbs, so I can hold 1,000 bulbs in my arms. That's a very small amount compared to what we've got now. And that was all hand planted and hand harvest. And even when I was young, we had, 20 or 30 people out picking them up by hand. It's all mechanical now.
Meaning there's more for us to enjoy. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
A group of Tasmanian scientists has been busy exploring and researching ecosystems in Australian waters over recent months. The group embarked on a 3-week trip from Beauty Point to Lord Howe Marine Park earlier this year, capturing coral and fish species in deeper ocean. Scientists have also been surveying local waters using an autonomous underwater vehicle.
We've just about completed 2 surveys in the Huon Marine Park, which is southeast of Bruny Island, and the Freycinet Marine Park out off Bicheno. So both of those are well over the horizon sort of parks, but we've for the first time been exploring, the sort of fish communities in those with the baited videos.
The Institute for Marine and Antarctic Studies hopes to release results from these latest trips in coming months. More Tasmanians will be able to enrol in apprenticeships and traineeships. Another round of funding from the state government is being made available for registered training organisations to subsidise the cost of their programs.
This fund, which is $25 million, will be opening on Sunday, and importantly, this is driven by demand from industry, from employers and indeed from Tasmanians that want to get training.
We've got record numbers of builds, record numbers of construction happening right across the state, so we essentially need more people, and an apprenticeship is a great pathway.
Just under 5,000 people have been allocated positions through the program so far this year. In developing news, Launceston's CBD has been shut down by a structure fire at Cotton On. Authorities responded to the blaze at the St John Street store just after 5 o'clock.
On arrival, we witnessed smoke issuing from level 1 of the building.
One woman was taken to hospital as a precaution after inhaling smoke. Investigations will continue to determine the cause of the blaze, which was at the front of the store. A veterans' retreat in the Central Highlands is in the final stages of being refurbished. The shack at Lake Sorell will also include a deck and training centre for veterans and their families. The state government has pitched in a further $100,000 towards renovations. It's anticipated the facility will be ready for visitors by the end of next month. Launcestonians have the chance to learn a little more about some of our national heroes with the Australian of the Year exhibition coming to QVMag. Having previously been stationed in Hobart, the travelling exhibition has now moved north for the last stop on its 2021 tour.
A group of inspiring, outstanding Australians, but they're also really relatable. They have really personal stories told in this exhibition, and it's something that I think people coming to see this exhibition will be able to connect with.
A variety of people, and it shows you that it can be from any different walks of life that people can come on to become an Australian of the Year, and that's important.
The exhibition also features symbolic items from each of the state and territory recipients, including Grace Tame. Tasmanian theatre will take centre stage tonight when it premieres the Rocky Horror Show for the first time in almost 4 decades. The commercial scale production features local and interstate performers, all eager to get back in front of the bright lights.
The curtain is finally going up at Theatre Royal. The cast and crew of the Rocky Horror Show are ready to thrill crowds for opening night tonight.
Feels like a dream that it's happening.
That feeling to be back on stage, like the day we came into the theatre, all of those feelings just came rushing back. I feel so lucky to be here right now.
The musical theatre industry has been crippled by COVID, with productions paused for almost 2 years.
New York's coming back to life
London's coming back to life and Hobart's coming back to life.
To get the rights to redesign the set, redesign the costumes and pretty much make it our own unique new production of Richard O'Brien's Rocky Horror Show is a history maker and a game changer.
Half of the 16-member cast are from the mainland, meaning they had to quarantine ahead of an intensive month of rehearsals. John X hopes this production puts Tasmania on the map.
If we can pull this show off, that means that we'll be doing more shows like this at that level, and producers who produce big shows in the mainland will think twice about not bringing a show here.
The cult classic was created in the early 1970s.
Basically told people back then, when we were still quite primitive in regards to people and their preferences, to say that no matter who you are or what you look like or how you dress, it didn't matter. It was okay. And this show celebrates all that.
From curtain up to curtain down, it's non-stop. It's an absolute runaway train. It's very fun, it's very silly, it's very cheeky.
The show runs until November 6. Letitia Wallace, 7 Tasmanian News.
Bo Webster will captain the Tigers' Sheffield Shield side against Queensland as Matthew Wade heads to the T20 World Cup. Hobart is ready to host an Ashes test, even at short notice, if the opportunity arises.
We're prepared and ready to go, and as you can see, the ground looks in spectacular condition, so if other cricket came our way, we would be grabbing it with both hands.
Ashes exposure would be a huge boost for Blunston, which today extended its naming rights of Bellerive Oval for another 3 years.
All of our loyal consumers around the world really are switched on to the idea that we're a Tasmanian company.
Bellerive Oval was the first venue in Australia hosting international cricket to offer naming rights.
Good evening. St Helens, Friendly Beaches and Bushy Park with our high today of 19 degrees. Hobart 1 behind, Launceston 17, Burnie 16 and Devonport 15. Temperatures close to average, Smithton 18 degrees, Grove 17, King Island and Strawn 16, Flinders Island and Low Head 15 degrees. Early low cloud was over the west today ahead of a mainly clear day until mid-level cloud moved in this afternoon from the northwest. A band of cloud extends from South Australia to near our west coast. Some low cloud over southern WA, otherwise mostly clear on the Big Island. Tomorrow a cold front crosses the state early. Several troughs lie over the tropical north. Northerly winds shifting west-southwesterly during the day at 25 to 35 knots over the north and east and up to 40 knots at times as well, swells to 3 metres. We have a gale warning from Sandy Cape to Tasman Island, a strong wind warning for remaining coastal waters and the Central Plateau lakes, a minor flood warning for the South Esk, a flood watch for the North Esk, Macquarie and Meander rivers, a bushwalkers alert as well, and a warning to sheep graziers, all in force. For Hobart tomorrow, a top of 14 degrees. Early rain, then showers. Early rain also for Cygnet, 14 the top, and 14 as well for New Norfolk. For the no-show holiday in Launceston, early rain and 15 degrees, 15 for Devonport, some rain also for Campbelltown, 14 the top. 15 for Burnie, same sort of forecast. Showers for Strawn on 13 degrees and 14 for Smithton. St Helens tomorrow a high of 17 with early rain and wind over the east coast. Swansea 16 and Fingal 15 degrees. There's the UV, it's 5 and moderate for tomorrow. Friday, showers over the west, south and Bass Strait Islands extending to the north during the morning. Showers extending across during the day, not much over the east though, and snow to 800 metres on Saturday. And on Sunday looks fairly wet, possible hail over the west and snow to 600 metres. Partly cloudy in Perth and Adelaide tomorrow, early showers in Melbourne, a windy but fine day in Sydney, partly cloudy and 28 in Brisbane. Hobart cloudy and 16 at the moment, cloudy in Launceston too, just 13 degrees and cooler in Devonport and 12 right now. And Kim, just like me, after a big night out, that weather forecast doesn't look good.
Thank you very much, Murph.